All right, good evening, everybody. Apologize for us being tardy and getting a late start this evening. I would like to call our regular meeting open. May we get a roll call, please?
Board Member Jarrell? Here. Board Member Irvin?
Here.
Board Member Cornett? Here. Board Clerk Espericueta?
Here.
And Board President Girardi?
Here. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Led by Monica Borrego.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next up, Erica Bargon is going to read our mission statement for us.
All members of Palm Springs Unified School District are united in our commitment to equity. We create deep, meaningful learning opportunities, build professionalism, and engage parents and community to ensure success for all students. All students graduate with the skills, capacities, and confidence needed to succeed in a rapidly changing world.
Thank you very much, Erica. Item 7 is a report on closed session items. Clerk Espericueta, are there any closed session actions to report this evening?
President Girardi, yes, we have one item to report. In closed session, the board denied a resignation and separation agreement with certified employee 183107, effective June 30, 2023. The agreement includes a waiver and release of claim against the district. The roll call vote was as follows. Ayes was President John Girardi and Board Member Karen Cornett. Noes was Board Member Madonna Guerrero, Board Member Charlie Erwin, and myself, Board Clerk Sergio Espericueta.
Thank you very much, Sergio. Item 8 is approval of the agenda. Can we get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Move for approval.
How about a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 9 is special recognition. The governing board wishes to recognize and commend the following recipients of the 2023 PSLA Senior Scholarship Awards. Julio Omir will share a brief presentation. Julio, you want to join us?
Palm Springs Unified School District board members and executive cabinet members, parents, students, and community members at large, good evening. My name is Dr. Julio Mir, and it is my honor and privilege to be here with you this evening to announce the Palm Springs Leadership Association, other known as PSLA, AXA Region 19 Charter, this Senior Scholarship Award Ceremony for 2022-2023. I would first like to thank PSLA executive board members, our current PSLA president Juanita Perez-Chica, who could not be here today, Shane Hagar, our president-elect, and the executive board members, Lasagna Pitts, Julia Barch, Mark Acker, Jennifer Geyer, Amber Gascoigne, Joan Boyko, Sue Drummond, and Tina Esmeralda. Thank you for all your support and everything you do for our students. This year, the PSLA is happy to announce that we have 10 award recipients, each receiving $1,000. At this time, I would like to have Mr. Mark Acker and Ms. Sue Drummond please join us in the front to congratulate all of the award recipients. Award recipients, when I call your name, please join them in the front. We will begin. The first award nominee would be Kayla de Guzman from Cathedral City High School. Kayla de Guzman will be attending the University of Redlands and will be majoring in music performance. Next award recipient is Tyler Graves. Tyler Graves will attend the University of Northern Arizona and majoring in computer engineering. The next award recipients from Desert Hot Springs High School, Christian Munoz. Mr. Munoz will be attending the UC Irvine and majoring in undetermined at this time. Giselle Silva. Giselle will be attending the University of California, San Diego. Major at this time is undetermined. Giovanna Valdivia Anaya. Giovanna will be attending the San Francisco State University and majoring in criminal justice. Award recipients from Palm Springs High School, Salamith Hoy. Ms. Hoy will be attending UCLA and majoring in applied mathematics. Alexander Byers. Alexander will be attending UCSD and majoring in cognitive science. And last but not least, Ranch Mirage High School award recipients, Brandon Wilson. Mr. Wilson will be attending Cal State Fullerton and majoring in business administration. Yocasta Sirigos McKinn. Yocasta will be attending the American College of Thessaloniki in Greece, majoring in political science. And Mr. Austin Zion. Mr. Zion will be attending Arizona State University and majoring in computer science engineering. On behalf of Palm Springs Leadership Association, congratulations.
Thank you, Julio, and congratulations, everybody. Item 9B, the governing board wishes to recognize and commend the following employees of the month for May 2023. We have a couple of short videos produced by our student media interns, so I think we'll play those first.
Good evening. My name is Myra Goldstein. I'm the Director of Early Childhood Development. I'm very proud this year to announce our classified employee of the month is Sarah Buford, our licensed vocational nurse that supports us in our school district and our department. So Sarah dedicates herself to our families and students, assuring that all their health requirements are met, their hearing and vision screenings are met, and conducted within the first 30 to 45 days of enrollment. She's dedicated to doing their follow-ups and assuring their health and safety is always in mind. I am very proud to work with Sarah as I see how she builds relationship amongst her colleagues and is so supportive to each and every one of us. I'm very proud to say that Sarah is part of our EC family and she is our classified employee of the month. morning. My name is Myra Acosta, and I'm the Director of Early Childhood Education. This year, I am proud to announce that I have chosen Celine Figueroa as Certificated Teacher of the Month. Celine has really demonstrated her commitment to our students and our families by her relationships that she builds with them, our returning families, insisting to come back to her a second year, and supporting, and the relationships of really supporting one another, and anything that the students may need, and identifying individual goals for the families and the students. I'm really proud to go into Celine's classroom and seeing her interactions with our students, how her social emotional awareness of each and every one of them and their needs, she is so attentive to. And on top of that, their academic skills and assuring that they meet school readiness in their kindergarten settings. So this year, I am very proud to announce that Celine Figueroa is part of our ECE family and our Certificated Employee of the Month.
Come on, let's go down. Sure. Could we have Sarah Buford join us up here, please?
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You have to come. You have to come back because I'm going to read some nice things about you. Nurse Sarah has supported our early childhood education program for 5 years. Her work ethic can be contributed to her tenacious desire to make a difference. Her determination and loyalty to children and their family makes her an ideal advocate for all of our students. Sarah is a strong leader, and she fosters an environment of communication and teamwork among the other nurses and staff. Sarah provides a loving, supportive, and caring environment for all our families and their children. Sarah ensures that all families have health resources when needed. She is committed to each of her team members and our early childhood families. It is a true honor to have Sarah Buford as part of our ECE family. Wow. Nurse Sarah, on behalf of the students and the staff of Early Childhood Education, members of the governing board and administration, it is a pleasure to present you with this plaque and recognition as a classified employee of the month for May 2023. Is there anyone in the audience you'd like to recognize?
No pressure, no pressure. Just my family, of course, my health services team, and of course my ECE family, Myra, Linda, Veronica, I think the teachers, everybody. I'm just so appreciative. I love everyone. I wouldn't be able to do this without them, like everyone, family, everyone. I love you all so much. So thank you.
Celine Figueroa, please.
Well, it's an honor and a privilege to present Mrs. Figueroa with who is an extraordinary teacher and a great leader in our community as a college instructor in early childhood. Mrs. Figueroa has a great understanding of the complexities of our diverse student population and their respective communities. She is in tune with the academic needs of our students and their families and has a great reputation or appreciation of how the agents of race, economics, culture, and politics coexist within the structures of the communities that we serve. Mrs. Figueroa continuously advocates for students in our district who deserve effective and proven educational alternatives. She is a true leader in equity. So, Mrs. Figueroa, on behalf of the students and staff of early childhood education, members of the Governing Board of Education and Administration, it is a pleasure to present you with this plaque of recognition as Certificated Employee of the Month for 2023. Great. It's all yours, okay?
Thank you. I just want to thank my family for always, pushing me and encouraging me to further my education and to serve the families in my community that I've lived in for over 30 years. I want to say thank you to all of our program leaders, my director, Ms. Myra, our coordinators, Linda, Veronica, our office staff. We couldn't do the work that we do with our families with all of your support. So thank you.
All right, well, congratulations to our employees of the month. Very well done. That brings us to item 10, which are our presentations, and we have 3 this evening. So our first presentation is going to be a student presentation on the HBCU and HSI tours, which has to do with OE13. Dr. Kovatz, I believe you're going to lead this off.
Yes, I'm so pleased to introduce our coordinator of diversity and racial equity and her team. So we have Dr. Crawford, Mr. Williams, and Mrs. Medina. They're going to tee up our presentation.
The Agua Caliente Band of Indians for allowing PSUSD to reside. So with that, good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Nicole Crawford. I'm the coordinator of diversity and racial equity for Palm Springs Unified, and I consider myself very lucky to be a chaperone on both of our college and culture tours. We were able to take 24 of our beautiful, amazing scholars to Washington, D.C. and the surrounding areas to visit historically Black colleges and universities, as well as 24 other amazing scholars to the Austin, Texas area to visit Hispanic serving institutions. Tonight you'll be hearing from 8 of our beautiful children. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get this party started.
Good evening, Cabinet Board. Jarvis Williams, Diversity and Racial Equity Specialist. Pleasure to be here this evening as well. Also, it was a pleasure to be able to travel with these 48 amazing scholars. And just a note, last year was our first annual tour, and we actually had 2 students, one who applied to Howard University and was accepted. This year we had a graduating senior. She applied to Morgan State University. She is accepted and will be attending in the fall. I think that clearly substantiates why these opportunities are so meaningful for our students. I am going to go ahead, though, and move out of the way. I would like to introduce 4 of those amazing students who traveled with us this year. and they will share with you the experience from this year's tour. From Desert Hot Springs High School, you will see Mr. Ozias Crawford. From Rancho Mirage High School, you will see Mrs. Kyra Holland. We have from Rancho Mirage High School also Mr. Jonathan Covington, as well as we have Mrs. Evie Oglesby from Palm Springs High School coming in that order.
All right. Hello, my name is Ozias Crawford, and I entered the HBCU trip. HBCUs are predominantly attended by African Americans, but they are inclusive to all races. There are 107 historical Black college universities in the U.S. Speaking of HBCUs, one of the HBCUs we attended was Norfolk State University. I really like this university because once I stepped on campus, I felt like I was at home, and everybody there made sure that everybody on the trip felt welcomed. As an athlete, one of the things I appreciated the most was being introduced to the track team, and they told us how their journey and how they got to the track team. Okay, let me restart. As an athlete, one of the things I appreciated was meeting athletes from the track team because they told us about their journey and how they got where they are today. Norfolk also provides Apple products to support academic success. We also had an opportunity to meet the mayor who shared with us We also had an opportunity to meet the mayor who shared with us his process on becoming mayor of Norfolk and the history behind Norfolk State University. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kyra Holland, and I currently attend Rancho Mirage High School. The campuses that we toured were Morgan State and Coppin State University, which were located in Baltimore, Maryland. And then there was Howard University, which was located in Washington, D.C. All three campuses were very city-centric. They were independent, and although they were independent, there was still a sense of community amongst the African-American students. The focal majors that were at each university were usually pre-med, pre-law, and business majors. And personally, I thoroughly enjoyed Howard because the campus, the people, and the programs resonated with me the most. And I hope that the future generations can enjoy this trip as me and my colleagues did, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Covington, and I also attended the HBCU trip. And here I'm just over here to explain some historical sites that contained a lot of memorabilia and facts. To start, we have Pure Lagos. As you can see in that picture right there, I was actually playing the piano. I was able to see one of my hidden talents and show it to everyone else. That was pretty cool. We have the reflection pool and the Lincoln Monument. I think that was very cool because we were just able to see it was just the sights and just everyone there. I think it was pretty cool, camaraderie-wise. We were able to come together. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, we were able to see him and just be and bask of all the what to take in. And there was also some words and quotes on the walls in the very back. So I think that was pretty interesting to see. We also have the National Museum of African American History and Culture, and that contained just a lot of memorabilia and facts and representation of our culture. I think that was very interesting to see. And then we also have the U.S. Capitol, and it had just a bunch of just statues, monuments, paintings. It was just really cool to see, and yeah.
Hi, my name is Evie Oglesby. I go to Palm Springs High School, and I was also very lucky to attend the HBCU tour. I want to start off by saying we were able to overcome a lot throughout this tour and still have fun. Beginning when we were in the airport and our flight was delayed, we all came together, chaperones and the children, and we played games to wait for our flight to arrive. On bus rides, we all got the opportunity to talk to people, meet people, and make new friends. Over the trip, we were on the East Coast, but we were luckily able to celebrate Ozias' birthday with our chaperones, and we had hats and a cake, and it was very fun. Even though there was a positive COVID test on our trip, we were able to overcome that by playing outside, staying separated, but still having fun together. After the African American Smithsonian, we were able to hang outside of the Capitol, and yeah, it was just very fun.
All right, take two. All right. Chaperones, I really enjoyed them being on the trip. They were a big part of the trip, you know. I feel like they're our parents, but our friends at the same time. They kept accountable of us, and I just feel like they overall were like enjoying their teen life again. I feel like they're all 18 with us, you know. I just want to thank every single one of them. I appreciate every single one of them. Just thank you very much. And one of the chaperones I'm going to introduce right now is Jarvis Crawford.
To the board, to everyone in attendance today, if I would have known to dress up, I thought we were wearing our HBCU shirt. So, well, I was able to attend this year's Historically Black College and University Tour as an APAC board member, as an advisor of Palm Springs High School's Black Student Union, and a past student and graduate of a HBCU. It was a great experience for me to go to a college I've never seen and at the same time show some kids this as well. Now, as an APAC board member, I had a chance to see a discussion that was heard years ago turn into fruition and see our students take advantage of a chance of a lifetime opportunity by visiting multiple historically black colleges and be in presence of other like-minded African-American youth. As an advisor of the Palm Springs High School Black Student Union for over 20 years, I've also pushed college after high school, as well as put an emphasis on going to a historically black college and university, and to gain history about themselves and learning more about their culture that unfortunately we don't get a lot of here in our valley. But as a past graduate and of an HBCU, I was able to share some insight on college to the youth that attended the HBCU tour, as well as look back at what I learned and what I gained from attending a HBCU and encourage the students on what they can gain in life as future students of a historically black college and university. I appreciate the opportunity that was given to me by the Palm Springs Unified School District, as well as those parents that entrusted me to be there with their kids and to be a motivation towards educating our students. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Laura Medina, and I am a specialist with the Diversity and Racial Equity Department. I was also very blessed to be able to accompany our 48 students on both tours. I am here to present our Austin, Texas portion, which was our HSI students. I feel excited and blessed that we are trailblazers, as this is the first HSI tour that PSUSD has hosted. So I'm very proud of the students and how they've led us throughout this trip. Without further ado, I would like to invite 4 of our scholars who joined us on our 2022-23 LPAC tour. And I would like to introduce Evelyn De La Cruz from Cathedral City High School. I would like to introduce Paloma Alvarez from Palm Springs High School. Miss Alondra Mesa Almanza from Rancho Mirage High School, and Dylan Ubense from Desert Hot Springs High School.
Hello, my name is Evelyn De La Cruz, and I go to Cathedral City High School. And some may ask, what is HSI? HSI is a Hispanic Serving Institute that require a minimum of 25% full-time undergrad students that are Hispanic.
Hi everyone, my name is Paloma Alvarez. I go to Palm Springs High School. 2 of the schools that we visited were Austin Community College and St. Edward's University. The school that stood out the most to me, honestly, was St. Edward's University. From the moment we stepped off the bus, you could see how beautiful the school was, how beautiful the campus was, and its location was honestly ideal for me because it's really in the city, but you could oversee like the way the city was just awesome. It was just like, it was on the city, but it was away from the city. It was just so cool. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know, like, it was weird. But you could really, as you walked around the school, you could see how awesome the people there were. And something else that really I took into and I made a joke about also was that the president of the school was a a female Latina. And I even made a joke saying that that was gonna be me one day. But it was honestly just the community, it was awesome. Its location was awesome. As you can see, the school's beautiful. But yeah, it was just a great school and a great like tour.
Hi, my name's Alondra Mestalmanza, and I will be talking about two of the colleges that we went to go see. The first is University of Texas of Austin. It was a very open campus that was a really walking distance from Austin. And a fun fact is actually that the school provides free busing for those who are part of the school, which makes it really accessible for everyone. And they have a bunch of majors and like things to choose from. And the next one, which is personally my favorite, one of my top, is Texas State University of San Marcos. It has amazing facilities, and for me, my favorite part was the story library that they had, which had so many floors that were all accessible to everyone there. And it also has an easy system to get around, as well as the tour itself was really amazing, and the people were really welcoming, and I really had a fun time. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dylan Avalos, and I go to Desert Hot Springs High School. The university that stood out to me was Concordia. I very liked it. I felt welcomed as soon as I walked in. There was no power whenever we got there, but even though there's no power, the staff was just very outgoing and just welcoming. I really liked the trees, the nature, and just the amazing view from Concordia. Also, I liked how it's away from the city, but it's not too far if you want to go with friends to downtown or get some food. I'd like to major in business management, and I feel like I would have really fit in Concordia because the classes are smaller, so I feel like I could talk with the teachers more and get a better education. Thank you.
So I'm going to be talking about some of the museums we visited. And the first museum that we visited was La Piña. Miss Cynthia gave us a history of the Latin struggles in Austin. And it featured a lot of Chicano art, which I really liked because most of us are Mexican American. And one interesting thing that she showed us was that there was a book that was PowerPoints to Healing. And the second museum that we visited was the Bob Bullock Museum. This museum was more about the Texas history, and we visited an IMAX movie theater, which gave more detail about the history. And towards the end, it kind of gave us a jump scare because it moved our seats, and none of us really expected that, and it caught us off guard. And our last theater that we visited was the Blenton Museum of Art, and it had a lot of very interesting displays, which I really liked. And one of the displays that I found very interesting was the mission, and the mission was it had 600,000 pennies, 2,000 kettle bones, and 800 confirmation waivers. And the display represents the colonization in Brazil and the conversion of indigenous tribes of the Catholic religion. And honestly, for me, visiting these museums made me learn more about my connection to my roots and the history of Hispanic. And I saw that the history of what Hispanics have been through to get ahead.
Aside from getting the great opportunity to look at some amazing universities, we were able to have some fun with our peers and our amazing chaperones. My favorite thing we did was go to the football game, and we actually made it on the big screen, as you can see. Another thing I liked was the karaoke, which was my first time. I really enjoyed it. We had a great time. Another thing was the Thai food, which was my first time. I loved the Thai tea, and just walking around the river walk with my friends and the amazing chaperones just was a great time. Thank you.
This trip was completely awesome, but I think one of the major reasons it was the amazing chaperones we had. We had a great connection with them. I don't know why, but it just seemed to always work out. They were great. They're great people. From the beginning to the end, and even now, we always felt like we could depend on them and they'd be there for us. And personally, for me, one of the best experiences I had with them was going to the football game with them and everybody else, because it didn't just feel like I was going on another high school trip, but it also felt like I was going with my family, because we created that experience and that just support system. Now speaking of chaperones, I'm gonna introduce the principal of Desert Hot Springs High School. Some may say the best principal, as I've heard, Omar Tinoco.
So I was told I have 20 minutes to speak, and I'm gonna try to narrow it down to 1 minute here. The trip was absolutely amazing, it really was. It was geared towards really exposing the students to colleges, the process, and really college life in general. What one of them hit on was all the first, though, and I think for me that was the most impressive part of this trip. For many of them, it was the first time on a plane, first time trying different types of food, because we purposely tried different restaurants to expose them to that. First time being away from home, and we know because the parents have told us they've never been away from home. So just having them for the time, the duration there was incredible. But really seeing the growth with them. We took students that had college on their radar, but wasn't necessarily ingrained in their mindset. And coming back and seeing the colleges themselves and seeing them there and seeing other students of color on campuses was really what opened the doors for our students. Absolutely amazing. I think that was a highlight for myself for the trip. And a highlight on the side, and I want to also thank Dr. Crawford and her team for it, was really to have the vision to start bringing the teams together. For those of you who don't know, we did meet with the students throughout the year, but then we did eventually start bringing both groups together, because we think it's important to really start bringing all of our groups together on all the campuses throughout the district. So thank you guys for the opportunity, and I appreciate it.
So that's a good segue, Mr. Tinoco, thank you. So that's a picture of all of our beautiful children together at one of the combined meetings that we had. And as Cesar Chavez says, preservation of one's own culture does not require contempt or disrespect for other cultures. And we truly feel that these college and culture tours represent this message. We truly try to blend and celebrate the diversity within Palm Springs Unified. So with that, I'd like to thank the board for your unwavering support always for these college and culture tours. I would like to give a huge shout out to my boss, Dr. Simone Kovac. She's absolutely amazing and a trailblazer. And I see Dr. Jim Pfeffer over there. He's our money man. He always ensures we got the money to go. So thank you, Dr. Pfeffer, for that as well. So we appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you all very much for a great presentation. And thank you for everybody who helped put that on, both of those programs. Next up is our teacher residency program presentation, and I think Dr. Senior A will introduce Brian Hendra and Alexis Acker.
Yes, thank you. And I'll just give a moment for the audience to move. That definitely was quite the crowd. Quite the group. Okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and get started. Well, first of all, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Hendra, Ms. Acker, to talk about our teacher residency program. This has been something that we've been wanting to do for years. And what I mean by that is create that pipeline where we can help our own employees that are looking to transition into teacher credentialing programs, really that pipeline, our homegrown folks, and get them into a teacher credentialing program. And I'm extremely excited to say we have it in fruition now. and it's about to get started. And so they're going to give us a rundown of what the program looks like. So go ahead, guys.
Thank you guys for giving us the time, the board, to have this opportunity and also to see this program grow. Alexis Acker has done a tremendous job on doing the foundation work for this program to make sure that there is a pipeline. And this is just another tool that we're using here in Human Resources or in Palm Springs Unified to attract viable candidates in our valley. But this allows, as Dr. Seniore mentioned, to make our homegrown people that already have a commitment to our community and our families to have an avenue to become a teacher here in our district. So with no further ado, I'm going to give you Alexis Acker.
Good evening. I'll move this over here. All right. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to share with you everything that we've been working on to establish our teacher residency program. So first of all, I'd like to touch on what our teacher residency program is. And so our teacher residency program, they're going to be earning their master's degree and their teacher credential all in 1 year. They're going to have hands-on experience in our Palm Springs Unified Schools with a qualified mentor. They're going to receive a $30,000 living stipend, which is a part of our grant funding. Everything's going to be contextualized to our Palm Springs Unified best practices, and there is a strong emphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion, which really aligns with our equity mission and vision of our district. And I'd also like to share with you, what we're familiar with, traditional credentialing programs. They could take up to 4 to 5 years to complete. They're based on theory, and the student teaching is usually about half a year with no pay, and tuition rates are a lot higher. There we go. So why Alder GSE? Residents remain committed to their schools longer. Residents represent the communities they serve, and the program encourages continued education. We chose Alder GSE because they have significantly longer retention rates for our teachers. 83% are from historically underrepresented communities, and 66% are first-generation college graduates. So we were inspired by the need for highly qualified teachers, for diversifying the workforce, for retaining our own teachers, and for that homegrown community feel. We are achieving this through several grants. Our kickstarting grant to kick off our whole program is the capacity grant, which is $250,000. Our implementation grant, we received $625,000, and it's for 4 years, as well as our TQP grant, which is for $12,500 for 4 years. From these grants, we are able to provide our residents with a living stipend of $30,000, and our mentors will receive a $3,500 stipend. So Alder is providing the instruction and the support for the preliminary credential, and the CTC is awarding the grants, the Center for Teacher Credentialing. So those are our partnerships. This is our implementation timeline to get you familiar with what we've been working on this past year. So this school year has been our planning and capacity building year. We've been recruiting residents, and we've been identifying mentors. This next school year, our cohort 1 residents will be in our classrooms alongside qualified mentors who match them with like credentials. And we will be pursuing recruiting for our second cohort. And I work very closely with our HR team to determine where our high areas of need are so that we can fulfill those areas in future years once we take on the teachers. This next school year, the following school year, 24-25, our first cohort will graduate. And the intention is to hire them in our Palm Springs Unified classrooms. As everything is contextualized to Palm Springs Unified, our cohort 2 will begin, and all of our CTC funded residents must make a 4-year commitment to Palm Springs Unified.
Alexis?
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's okay if I interrupt you?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Is this a blended model where they go to Alder online while they're working, and then maybe Saturdays, or how does that work?
Yeah. So this model is very different from any other. So Alder GSE is the graduate school, and we are obviously like the K-12, and it blends the two together. So they're working in our schools with our mentor teachers every day, day in and day out. And so then once a month, they go online for their master's level courses. So they're at their school site, then they go home, or actually I've reserved space here for them, but they hop on and they have their professors live on Zoom once a month, and then once a month they have an in-person course day on a Tuesday, the first Tuesday of every month, in person here at the district office with some of our TOSAs and staff that will be teaching those courses. As well as every Thursday, they are with me in a resident seminar. So I'm bridging that connection of their placement, what they're learning, their hands-on experience, with what they're learning in their master's courses. So yes, it is like a blended kind of model.
And your capacity for this cohort 1 would be up to how many? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
How many?
Yes,
I
I
shouldn't
have.
judge
No,
it.
it's okay. I have all that right here. So our capacity with the grant had limitations. So initially we were looking at 12 to 14 residents for our first year. However, because we had such an interest and so many mentors that wanted this opportunity to help grow our own, we were able to hire or accept 21 teacher residents. So in future years, our hope is to have 25. That's the maximum that our grant funding will allow. All right, so I'll go on with how we came about all of this. So we had 56 total applicants, and there were 66% from underrepresented backgrounds. Of those 56 applicants, we chose 21 teacher residents, 80% of which were from underrepresented backgrounds. And these are our admission stats. So we had, I want to point out, 71% are current Palm Springs Unified employees. 66% of them are alumni of our schools and raised in the Coachella Valley. I would like to share with you how our application process worked. So first they applied to Alder and were preliminary accepted by Alder. And then we reviewed their applications. We had an intensive day where they were interviewing. And so it was a 4-hour interview. So they taught a 5-minute mini lesson. Then we gave them some feedback and they implemented that feedback to the best of their ability and re-taught the lesson. And then from there, we also had different breakout rooms. One of the breakout rooms was specifically on equity detours, an article that they had to read and self-reflect on. And so within all of that, we had our district staff, we had principals as our facilitators and our panelists, so they were able to be a part of the panel and help us choose who we wanted to accept into the program. All right, so with that, we have our 21 resident teachers. We just had our orientation last week, and it was so exciting to have them all in the room. It's starting on June 12th. And it's here at our district office. So we're very excited to get that up and going. Alder's sending some of their staff to present, basically. The professors are going to be here on our grounds. With that being said, our incoming cohort, we have 15 internals, 7 substitute teachers, and 6 classified employees. So they are paraprofessionals currently, administrative support staff, nutrition services staff, as well as an accounting assistant. And we have 2 ECE, early childhood teachers. And we also have 6 non-Palm Springs Unified employees, those of which are alumni and currently live within the Coachella Valley. They work for Hope and Desert Arc. They are fast food service employees and or graduating with their BA very soon in May. So we're excited to have them all come aboard. So this is sharing with you our elementary placements. So I just want to point out to you that, for example, under Cabot Yerxa, the mentors listed first. So Valerie Daughtry, first grade, indicating the grade that she'll be teaching next year. And below her name is Ana Castillo, and she will be the resident teacher. So these are all the schools that we are partnering with for this first year. Agua Caliente, Rio Vista, Vista del Monte, and we have 3 dual immersion teachers, potential dual immersion teachers. I'd also like to point out the mentors play a really important role in the lives of our residents. They're working with them every day, day in and day out. The residents are attending meetings with them. They're doing recess duty with them. They're basically, getting to start the year with them, see the setup of the classroom and how all of the expectations and everything are set and the foundation is laid from the get-go. These are some of our elementary and middle school placements. We have all of these on this slide are special education. So we will have 6 special education residents working with our mentors. Our mentors, as you can see, are past and current teachers of the year. They were selected and recommended by their principals at their school sites, and they attended an informational session, and then they also had to apply for this position, and we had to make sure that we had credential areas of need to be able to fulfill with a resident teacher. So these are some of the best that Palm Springs has to offer. These are our high school placements. Desert Hot Springs High School, Palm Springs High School, and Rancho Mirage High School. And then I'd like to, I feel like this quote really sums up the intention of the residency, and so I'd like to read it to you. It is, relationships are all there is. Everything in the universe only exists because it is in relationship to everything else. Nothing exists in isolation. We have to stop pretending we are individuals that can go it alone. And that's by Margaret Wheatley. And I feel like we are building from our own community. Relationships are the core of this program. With our mentors, mentoring, right? Our own Palm Springs Unified teachers that are mentoring our new teachers. Those relationships are key to the success of this program. And I would also like to point out how I mentioned earlier the diversity, equity, and inclusion piece that Alder is really committed to. So we are at Palm Springs Unified committed to equitable, socially just, and anti-racist education system that's based on fairness, dignity, and democracy. And we really feel like that ties in with our whole diversifying the workforce by using that culturally and linguistically responsive teaching strategies to engage and better connect with our students. So these are our teachers who are being mentored by our teachers, our mentors. And we are, again, as Dr. Signore said, creating that leadership pipeline by having our mentors attend these monthly PDs, because not only are the mentors building their capacity to be coaches and mentors, so are our residents. All right, that way they can better support their residents. So I'd just like to thank you all for your time, and I am an alumni. I went to Catherine Finchie, Raymond Cree, and Palm Springs High School, so this program is really near and dear to my heart, and I know the impact of a teacher because I was once in those classrooms and very motivated and excited from a teacher who built my confidence. So thank you all for your time, and that's it.
Anybody have any questions?
So maybe I missed this because you were really good on all the slides, and at the beginning I maybe wasn't paying closely attention. Once they finish the program, will they have a clear credential, or will they be eligible for student teaching, or where is it they end up?
Yes, so once they complete the program, they will have a preliminary teaching credential and a master's degree in education. Then they will move into our induction program with our reflective coaches.
Good, thank you.
I just want to say, I think it's an outstanding program, and thank you for undertaking it. And HR, I'm sure you had a lot to do with it. I assume the people that are coming into it, they already have a bachelor's degree? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, they have to have a bachelor's degree by June 1st.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Sounds
Thank you.
exciting.
Thank you so much.
Only very quick comment. Thank you, Brian and Alexis. I'm not the expert, I'm not the teacher, but I have a question in my mind, but you answered the question during the explanation slide about the special education teacher. Thank you. Good presentation.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Alexis. It was a great presentation. The program's outstanding.
Thank you so much. Appreciate all of your support. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, next up is our district security update. Dr. Sweezy. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Dr. Senior A, you want to take care of this for us?
Yes, as a substitute
Thank you
tonight.
for reading the script.
Yes, I understand. Yes, I'd like to introduce Mr. Levon Smart. Mr. Smart has been working extremely hard on creating updates relative to security systems district-wide. And so tonight he is going to share with the board an update on all the information and some future plans. So, Mr. Smart.
Good evening. We're going to, Doctor, now I see why you said Mike Sweezy. We're going to talk about the district security update. I want to start with this caption first. Security is not a product, it's a process. So as you'll see as we go through this, this has been a process. It's actually been a 3-year process. This is okay. So in May of 2019, the school district hired a vendor to come out, do a security assessment of the school district. At that time, some of their high points were, it was a lack of experience with district leadership, the security officer training, the SRO capabilities and collaboration with the law enforcement, and the inadequate response and preparedness. So seeing that these things were of issue in 2019, my job was created. I subsequently interviewed and was hired, and we started trying to check the boxes and get some of these things cleaned up that this third-party vendor had noticed. So tonight's agenda, we'll talk about the campus safety officer and district patrol, school resource officer, emergency preparedness, the campus safety plan, and some recommendations to continue to keep moving us forward. Did I do something? Talked about the background. Thank you. So again, the agenda, campus safety officer, school resource officer, emergency preparedness, campus safety plan and recommendations. So we start with the campus safety officer. If we look at the training, and I'm going to switch it up, even though I have training pipeline at the top, I'm going to flip it so we can actually look at the hiring piece. What we did is we rewrote the CSO test, the campus safety officer test, introduce new interview questions, behavioral type interview questions like, for example, tell me what your biggest work failure was and what did you do to overcome that? Because realistically, the philosophy we want is we want to hire for character and train for skill. So if we bring in the correct character, it makes it easier to do the job, to understand what it is Palm Springs Unified is about. So then we move straight to our training pipeline. We started with Nick Capelli and Alex Borrego, started department orientation. So when we get new officers in, we give them all those pieces that they need. This was after we redid the procedure manual so they knew exactly what Palm Springs Unified is accepted. These are your right and left limits for the CSOs, so they knew exactly what was the expectation. We started a 2-week training period for every officer coming in. That was instrumental because Nick and Alex both will tell you when they first got hired on, as campus safety officers, it was pretty much, here's your keys, here's your campus, go forth and hope things work out for you. We didn't want to do that. We want to set everybody up for success. We don't want to set them up for failure. So we started a 2-week training period with a senior SRO within the district. They go, they get trained, then they will give us feedback on exactly where this individual is. Because again, we want to make sure we have the right character for what it is we're doing. Next thing we did is we brought in security training experts and ABPS. We brought in outside vendors, so we were getting consistent, continual training for all of our officers across the board, period. We didn't want any deviation from that standard, and then we made that the standard, then we wanted to keep it there. We brought in the National Association of School Resource Officers. We brought them in because they have a section solely for school security officers. So that was a 3-day training, which we brought them in, so we made sure that they were trained in the best school-based policing or safety officer practices that are today in 2023. During that time, we also used a lot of help from student services. We got officers trained in youth mental health first aid, LGBTQ+, PBIS, and moving forward, we'll be working with them because the next piece that we're moving into is MTSS. So we want to make sure that they understand that tier 1, that universal level, so they, as officers, can be as I guess Dr. Pfeffer would always say, increase and improve services to our students. Yes.
Quick question there. So there for the district-based training, I don't see anything there for our African-American students. We're pretty sure, and statistics have showed that a lot of our African-American students suffer higher suspension rates. And also, we know we have the prison to pipeline is a fact. And so I don't see that the SRO officers is getting anything with being able to deal with some of our students who have most of the issues that are on our campus.
Well, these are actually these are our employees. They have to go through conscious education training. They're part of us. So any training that any of our teachers go through, they have to go through as well. So when we start talking about equity and inclusion, these are our employees. They have to go through that as well.
So what's the difference of having the LGBTQ on there?
That was something that was put in, that was training that was given, and these are just pieces of training. I didn't put them all in there. So these are just examples of the training, but these are district-based trainings that are being given. So next one you'll see, next year it'll be MTSS. It'll also be conscious education training. So those things will always be in there. NASRO, within theirs, they do, and you'll see it when I bring up the SRO. Their training, they have one in there for working with kids from diverse populations.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are all the things that we're doing. But yes, that's just a sampling of the trainings that we as a district require of our staff. So since they are our staff, we require them to take it as well.
Just would like to see that on there. If you can have an opportunity to put that on there. I think that's something that's important.
Okay.
And these are our campus security officers?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, not the SROs?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
So I guess piggybacking on Board Member Irvin, those would include, it's not up there, restorative justice practices,
Yes.
other types of equity training that is inclusive in many of our schools, and that already this has been in place.
Yes.
They have.
Yeah, so those are all things because, again, they're our employees, and it's the expectation of the district. So we want to make sure we're in line with what the district's doing. If we're not, then we have a problem.
Yeah. We were just asking earlier in a study session, what does that look like? How does a SRO or any of our staff that helps with security, what does that look like at a school?
You would have to be more specific.
Okay, I'm just like saying, for example, you have a security officer at an elementary school site, and how does that officer or that employee integrate into the school to participate in nurturing restorative justice practices?
So that would be at the school base, at the school level, how
Okay.
they felt best way to use them, because we have had CSOs step in and be part of restorative circles.
Okay.
So it's left up to the principals and the counselors there to see how that best fits, how that works there. So it's not a one-size-fits-all, if that makes sense.
Yes, it sounds like it varies from school to school.
Yes.
Thank you.
So now we'll move to the School Resource Officer Program. Background here, I would say maybe 30 years ago, there was an MOU where Palm Springs said, hey, we want to have police officers in our school. I showed up in 2020, and it was kind of like, hey, you as the board said, can we look at this? Can we look over this? And I believe Mr. Irving was part of an outside group at that time that also wanted us to look at it. So that's what we did. We went, we looked at it, and looking through it, there were several priority areas that we needed to work on, without a doubt, hands down. Memorandum of understanding, training, the role of the SRO, and data collection. We didn't have any of those things. Well, we had an MOU, but it pretty much said, hey, we're gonna pay you some money. Could you put somebody here with a badge and a gun on our campus? That's not an effective way for the SRO program. So we went back to the drawing board and we did it the 21st century style, which was in line with the U.S. Department of Education and the best practices in school-based policing. So with that, yes.
Sir Maria, maybe the MOU is ready there, but one comment I received for a parent was that he say that was disappointed because the SRO was removed from the Ancient Warmer middle school. And I say, those schools don't have SRO. It's only in the high schools. How can we improve in that misinformation? Because the parents think that the SRO is for the whole school district, and that is not true. The security is the one that take care of the entire school district, not necessarily the SROs. Yeah.
And a lot of times it does get lost in translation on campus safety officer versus school resource officer. And a lot of times people they kind of blend together, or they marry them together when they're actually not. We do have the SROs especially in Palm Springs and then in Cathedral City and even in Desert Hot Springs. Not the sheriff, not so much because they only have Rancho Mirage, but they do help those surrounding schools when needed. So it's not as though they're just planted there and rooted at the high schools, because again, they know the school system, they know basically how we want to work. So they do at times go to Raymond Cree or Nellie Kaufman or Cabot Yerxa if help is needed, or if they're looking for an officer, and it makes it easier for us as well. Does that kind of answer your question, sir? Okay. So with our memorandum of understanding, the biggest piece, and even when I got hired, and I believe Dr. Signoret and Dr. Murray were there on the hiring board when I asked, hey, yeah, we should always be able to have a say in the hiring of the SRO, and the look was kind of like, well, we don't. Well, the MOU shows that now. This year alone, we've had a chance. I've sat in 2 interviews with 2 new officers. Palm Springs will be getting a new one, and Cathedral City's new one. Sat in, wrote questions for it, asked the questions, got a chance to sit, talk with those chiefs, those lieutenants, those commanders, and say, hey, is this a good fit? Yes, this is a good fit. So that's something that we never had a chance to do before. The agreement to have SROs trained, they were trained by NASRO. So we have one training standard across the board. This is our standard. This is where we are. We elevated it to that. So now every single officer that comes in is trained on that same standard with understanding the expectation we have of them when they come in through our doors. Coordinating their investigative procedures. They've been working together with the principals, making sure that they do exactly that. They can give the principals information based on the level of the investigation, if that makes sense. Not too much sensitive information, but work hand in hand so no one's blindsided either way. Working with the campus administration when we're talking about those safe school plans, they're helping with those things. Currently, CCPD, I will say, is probably the forerunner when it comes to that emergency operations piece, because they use a lot of our schools to do different active assailant drills. But we've had the relationship we've had in the last 3 years has grown exponentially. And finally, our current MOU runs out in June 30th of 2024. So that was that on the MOU. Any questions here? So if we look at the training, and it goes to your question, Ms. Irving, when you said we have supporting successful relationships with diverse students. That was also trained in the campus safety officer. These are 15 of the courses. Some of the ones that I really picked out to highlight was that foundation of school-based law enforcement. The SRO is a teacher and a guest speaker and an effective, building those effective presentations. Understanding students with special needs. The SRO is an informal counselor. And then, as I said earlier, I like the one understanding the teen brain, because my son, who's just turned 21, will constantly remind me the human brain doesn't mature until it's 25 when I say he's acting mature. But so these are the things that are going on. These are the things they're being trained in, so we can bring that into our school. So not only are they acting as a law enforcement officer, but they're doing these other things that we can use. All those things that they're trained in leads them to this. That's the SRO triad, which is a teacher, education, counselor, mentor, law enforcement officer. We use that triad to then, in order for us to collect data, we use that triad to build out an SRO matrix, and we gauge them in those three areas so we can understand their day-to-day interactions with students. Once we did that, we then go back, we compile that information, and as you can see, to date, 72% of their time is used as a law teacher. Now, if you look at the law enforcement, that doesn't mean that there was an arrest made at all. That just means that they had to use their law enforcement, their legal due power to to create or find a solution to a problem. So a lot of what we've been dealing with, not unlike the East Coast, started about 6 months ago, where everything started moving this way with digital threats. We had a whole lot of digital threats. I believe we had one 2 weeks ago, came out of Texas. They're helping us solve a lot of these. So when kids are on social media and they're doing their thing and they say the wrong thing and they make those threats that then kind of raise everybody's level, the police are helping us solve those problems and fix those problems and speak with parents. And so when you see law enforcement, that's when they're sworn duty. That's when they have to step in and take care of some of those things. And this is the impact that we're having. You'll see they're doing social media PSAs. You had Arista who did back to school, the DHS SRO. He would work with Mr. Tinoco religiously to try to get things going so everybody knew what was going on. You had during prom, the Cathedral City SRO brought the taxi. You can either take the taxi. If you don't, you decide to drive or smoke and drive home. You could be going the other way with the police. But these are all the things that they're out in the community, our Palm Springs Unified School District community, they're doing so they can be part of it, so we can grow together.
So in that data aspect of it,
yes.
Do we have anything that shows how many students have been arrested or anything like that?
No, what would happen, what you would really get is if they were arrested on campus, it would actually fall into a school violation, and then it would be suspension or expulsion, which would be data you would have that would be presented to you as a board to vote on the suspension or expulsion.
So you guys don't keep any of that data?
We wouldn't have it. It would be student services would have that data.
Okay.
So now we'll start looking at the campus safety plan, and I remember you all voted about a $4.5 million check to say, hey, we're going to do these things. We've installed a new camera system. As we talked, we had our priority schools, which were Catherine Finchie. I'm sorry, first it was Farrell, Catherine Finchie, and then DSMS. Those three were our priority because I believe Mr. Irving asked last time I gave you similar information, how did you find your priority schools? And those were our three priority schools. And the reason we did it is by no fault of our own, technology wears out. And technology wore out a whole lot faster than we thought it could. It did, therefore we went, those priority schools were taken care of, got them done, so they're already done. They started that during spring break. So they'll keep moving towards the summer until we finished all schools. Roughly I would say we're gonna wind up maybe replacing about 1,100 cameras district-wide. Next is the A phone, which allows access. I'm sorry, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, did you guys take into consideration some of our schools that are highly intense with suspensions and things like that as maybe as a second tier? You know, because you guys have the ones that have the wear and tear, but could you take into consideration on the second tier level those schools that have the high intense level of suspensions and maybe violent incidents?
I don't know if I'd have to talk to the vendor because this is more vendor based. You know, those first three we knew we basically had, for lack of a better term, a paperweight. So we had to get something in there. The other ones I'll have to talk to the vendor and I'll work with ETIS. But the way it's set out easiest for them once it's done is now that DSMS was the last one, so they're in Desert Hot Springs, so they want to start doing that Desert Hot Springs. Because we have 214 square miles that we sit in, so we want to make sure, because we don't have an infinite amount of manpower for them to do it, if that makes sense. So we have the access control system, which we always have access control, but this in and of itself is what we will call the wave of the future. Intercom, parent comes to the door, we can buzz people in, those type of things. Hey, welcome to, I was going to say my old school district, sorry about that. Welcome to Desert Springs Middle School, how may I help you? And go from there. Those things that where we start to kind of own and work the landscape of how we want things to move. Of course, we had our emergency response, which is Alice, talked about it in a similar presentation. We're going to crawl, walk, run. We've got 2,800 employees. Right now, we're at about 2,000. We still need 800 to get trained so we can move on to the e-learning portion. But we're going to move on to that e-learning portion because we want to crawl, we want to walk, we want to run. Then we'll get to Raptor Alerts, which is a communication tool that we can use district-wide so everybody can be notified when there's something going on, should something occur. And then we roll this all into practical application because that's truly where the rubber meets the road, right? You can tell me all day long on how to bake a cake, but until I bake that cake, it's not going to taste any good. So that's Alice and all those pieces that we'll have going with that. Then, of course, similar, I spoke about our disaster response. So we had trained teams that can handle those natural disasters that may happen. Light search and rescue, disaster first aid, triage, and utilities control. And then before that, I had some recommendations that I think would actually help us move forward. That would be, I'm going to tell you one that's already coming around the pipe, which is a trauma kit in every classroom, state mandated by June of 2024. Been working with Laura Dyson to start kind of getting that ball rolling. So it'll be at least one stop to bleed kit in each room. We've also looked, and I brought it up to cabinet, we've talked about weapons detection systems. Board member Jarrell is out at Coachella Valley. Work closely with Gus Paez out there all the time. We've both talked about the Evolve system that's out there. I think it's something that we should start looking towards as well, weapons detection system. It also, it marries up to our video system we just put in so they can work together and become a force multiplier with all the artificial intelligence that it has. Then also we want to think about new signage for all of our schools. And we also want to think about if Dr. Signoret can hold up his IDs for our students and our staff so we know what's ours, right? We want to know exactly who's on our campus, why they're on our campus, or should they even be on our campus. That's the easiest way to readily identify what belongs to us. With that, I like to end it with a quote from the former governor of Pennsylvania, Tom Wolf. Parents and students deserve to have confidence that our classrooms are safe places for students and teachers. I believe, as I said earlier, it's not products, it's process. Through this process, we can reassure parents that our classrooms are places that are safe for students and teachers. Thank you.
Doesn't Rancho Mirage already have the IDs that the students have to wear at Rancho Mirage High School?
That, I'll just say it's hit and miss. So Rancho Mirage may say yes, where Palm Springs may not. What my recommendation is that it's required, period. It's mandatory, it's a non-negotiable. So instead of having one, it should be all, and and especially at that level. Does that make sense?
Can I speak to that,
Yes,
Mr.
sure,
Irvin?
go ahead.
So one of the things, currently, it isn't a mandatory across the district for staff or students. It's one of those, but in my conversations with Mr. Smart, also internally with the executive cabinet, it's something that we want to make happen. One of the issues, obviously, when we make something mandatory is that there has to be systems, first of all, to make it happen, providing those IDs, but also the accountability part and the expectations and outlining all of that process. That'll take a little bit of time, but that's ultimately the goal we're trying to achieve. But to answer your question, it's at Rancho Mirage High School, it probably, they do have it, but it's not a consistent practice or policy across the district.
Okay. And so, is there other things that are universal when it comes to security throughout our district?
That would be, the answer you're looking for is not for public consumption. That would have to be in an area that wasn't because it's a sensitive topic you're asking for.
And then, I was going to ask the question. I can't think of it. All right, I can't think of the question.
Okay, thank you for bringing us all to updated information. I appreciate the trauma kit idea, thank you. And I work with an instructional aide who has a son in another district. So I asked her, if you need information about safety and security at your son's school, can you go to your website in your school district and find information about the safety programs and protocols and how that works, right? So I printed the neighboring district safety protocol, 2 pages, and I printed Palm Springs USD's protocols as well, 2 pages, right? Kind of general information. And so because I work with delegates from across the county, I went to a website and found a 28-page protocol, including the mission statement, national safety awards, resource officer information, local partnerships, security attendant, descriptions, noon supervisor, descriptions, school surveillance, school safety programs, school safety plans and drills, safety video links, bicycle, pedestrian, and traffic safety, and important contacts. I mean, it was really resourceful. Now, this is a national award-winning program. And for me, and being, if I was a parent, to be able to find it on the website would be really, really beneficial. And maybe some of it is not really, like you said, security-wise. But for me, as a parent, grandparent, hopefully, we would have information on earthquake preparedness. We'd have that information. Unification, it's called reunification, right?
Yes.
Information. And so this is Corona Norco, and I felt that as I was reading this, I did the homework to find out what's out there, that perhaps we could help our parents. I know they're getting regular messages and in multiple languages, but sometimes, I want to be honest, our parents will hear it from the district and hang up right away. They're tired of the automatic dialer. So if a parent, especially from a new out-of-district place, is looking for information about what happens if my son is in a lockdown, it's here in this guide. So I'm not sure if you're thinking about doing, like you said, more messaging, or giving us and our parents more references, resources, and information, especially on the website. Have you been thinking about that?
So Mr. Capelli started working on our website. However, again, even with the department, it's a crawl, walk, run.
Yeah.
So I understand completely and agree, but we had these other pieces that we had to bring up before we had to bring the website up. And a lot of the things that we look at, especially if your child, depending on the school, is we would have to revert or defer to the safe school plan for that school. But as a department in and of ourselves, we are a small administrative team with a lot of tasks, with a lot of heavy lifts. So I'll just say that the website in and of itself was not the first thing that we were going after, if that makes sense. It's
Well-
not, it's definitely on the deck, but making sure that we got those 2,800 trained in that emergency response, and then we'll kind of.
But the reason I bring this up is because the messaging and the communication really should be written as well. It goes out as a letter of notice by a principal of maybe some action happening at school. And maybe, part of the future would be unrolling something more concrete for parents to say, well, this is the emergency contact list, and these are the protocols that go into place when there's a major earthquake. Or so I'm just doing a little homework saying, how are we informing our public and our parents about emergencies and even just protocols for traffic and safety in general? Doesn't have to be differentiated, but in general for the district. So.
If I may, Ms. Jarrell, I think one of the things that, for your reassurance, I know many of our school sites have their safety plans that they're communicating out to parents, so they do that. But I understand where you're coming from. If there's like a one spot, try to get something for the whole team, and that's definitely, I think that's definitely what we're evolving to. I have to say, Mr. Smart has been working tremendously hard with his team to create systems district-wide. Eventually, I think we'll get there. Whether it'll be a 28-page one, I don't know. But I think a system that will definitely provide the reassurance for the community, we're definitely working hard. And I know he's been, got to remember also, he came in when everything was in closures, so he didn't have a whole bunch of time to assess. So a little bit behind and just, trying to get assessment on the systems, but he's working hard towards that. I think that's definitely a goal we'll try to achieve.
Thank you. And just go back to those safety plans. Are they translated to Spanish?
I'd have to double check on that. I'll confirm, but
I know this document is translated.
Yeah,
And I don't believe so mainly, and a lot of it is because whatever the state mandates, and if it didn't mandate that, it probably is not. To my knowledge, no. With the ones I've seen, no. Not saying it can't be done, but everything's been done whatever the state's mandated.
Right.
Not saying it can't be done. Not saying it shouldn't be done. It's a good idea.
But we'll follow up on it.
I think it's a need, but area of need.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you again.
I just wanted to add too, it seems to me that every time there is something major that happens at a school, that the principal, with the help of Joan Boyko, and I'm sure with the cabinet, do send out letters to the public, to the parents, and so I think we do keep parents informed that way, which is a really good thing, and that's been happening, I would say, for maybe the last 10 years. So I think that's one of the ways that we do communicate with parents if there is something that's happening at a school that they need to be aware of. So.
Board Member Cornett, are those translated in Spanish too? In the audio, I'm not sure. I know the letters are, but
The letters are.
yes, I know that.
Yeah, when I have received notifications from the campuses from my children enrolled here in Palm Springs Unified, it comes in Spanish. I have mine, and they are translated, yes.
Anybody quickly. Else? Yeah, just quickly. So it came back to me, the surveillance. With the surveillance, do we have enough staff, or do we have enough staff to be able to review the surveillance and constantly watch the surveillance that we have?
We do not live view the surveillance. That's not a big room where we do that. That is not live view. No. The beauty of the new system is the AI in and of itself can let us know of things based on parameters we put in there. So the AI learns, it sees, hey, a fight, an arm come up. It can then alert via walkie-talkie, via text, via email, take a picture, shoot that video to hey, this is happening here. But a live time viewing, sitting, watching a wall in what's known as a GSOC, no. A Global Security Operations Center, no.
Okay, so it's just a running.
Yes, it is more of and I always say this, it is more of a tool for after the fact.
Okay, so it's recording, correct?
Yes, it is recording.
Okay.
And this is all internet-based or satellite-based?
So this is all it is all wired in. It's network-based. So that's part of the reason as well on your question when you asked we can move. Based on, because it is network based, that's why they do what they do. So it's the same as our internet protocols, all that. Yes. No.
Okay, anybody else? Thank you very much, Mr. Smart.
Thank you.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Item 11 is public comments. Mr. Esperacueta, have we received any email comments today?
President Gerardi, we have not received any email comments.
Thank you very much. And I don't see any speaker cards for in-person comments. So we'll go to item 12, which is board member comments. Does anybody have anything they want to share this evening?
Sure, I'll go ahead and start. I miss our student board members and their presentations, but I wish them all really much success. They were such a great group to have this year. I was fortunate to attend the Board of Education Foundation subcommittee with our foundation members on May 25th is the SMART Mentoring Program Senior Graduation Event at the Air Museum, and the Student Shoe campaign is underway. Ellen, Ms. Goodman, will give really a detailed update in June of all of this year's foundation activities. They've been very successful grant-wise and also in donations, and I'd like to thank also Executive Cabinet for really going out of your way, Dr. Klatz, and really working with them. It's really been a pleasure to hear about all of their successes. I also was able to attend the Cathedral City High School Awards and Scholarship Night. All of our fantastic seniors there receiving lots of awards and lots of scholarships, as was at Ranch Mirage High School Awards and Scholarship Night last night. Really congratulations to all of our seniors. They really are, it's heartwarming. That sounds maybe corny, but it really is heartwarming to see the products of our seniors really graduating in all of the colleges that they've been accepted to. Also, I got to attend the 36th annual WHO We Honor Our Own banquet. Thank you to HR, to our ladies for putting it on in your department. For honoring their staff for their years of service, for the employees of the year, and our retirees. Really over 800 people attended this year. It was really quite lovely. And also I'm looking forward to the rest of the year and our end of the year, our graduations, and also other awards assemblies. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Irvin?
Yeah, and so I guess I attended some of the same things that Karen attended. So I'll try to keep it a little bit quickly and move through. I also went to Cathedral City High School as well on May 18th for the Golden Award. It was amazing. The young lady was so excited to win the Golden Award, she almost started crying. So that was something that was very excited to see all of those students, and some of those students were like draped in medals and awards, and it was just great to be there and see that. Also, I went to the WHO Awards as well, my first time going. It was kind of overwhelming. I walked in there and I was like, whoa, I've never seen this many adults in one place at one particular time having a good time. So it was great to see that with our teachers and all the people that do all of the wonderful things here at our district, and for us to be able to honor them. Such a great opportunity. As well, I want to say thank you to the HBCU kids and also the HSI kids that went on the tour. I want to thank all the people that were behind it. Like they said, the money guys are really important. Just continuing to have that success. And it was so exciting to hear that there were 2 students that will be going to HBCU colleges due to this tour, and those schools were the schools that we had here. That we went on an HBCU trip. I also would like to say that there is a Juneteenth event that's going to be in January 17th at the James O. Jesse Desert Highland Center. Just for those who are not aware, Juneteenth is Independence Day for African Americans. In 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation was done to free the slaves. It wasn't until 1865 until slaves were actually freed, and that was in Galveston, Texas. So this is a great event. This is the 3rd year that this has been put on, And I just hope everyone can come out and celebrate. There'll be games, there'll be food, there'll be different educational opportunities. So it's something that I would really love to see everyone get behind and support. Also, there is a Black History committee is putting on the Kings and Queen pageant with these young ladies and men who get an opportunity to be able to show their talents and also dress up and have an opportunity to show their talents. And that as well is on June the 16th, and it's from 5 to 7 p.m. And it will be at 480 West Transview Road in Palm Springs. For more information, that number is 760-416-5716. And that kind of concludes the things that I've done.
Thank you very much. Member Jarrell?
It's an honor to wear these colors tonight. For 6 days away from today, we celebrate and honor our veterans who, this Memorial Day, were men and women who served, who died while serving in the U.S. military. And some of those veterans happen to be former Palm Springs Unified School District students. And for them and all across our valley and across our state, I honor them by tonight wearing the special shawl. And I have been with many of our board members, and I have many programs with many wonderful accolades and successes that included, I want to say, hundreds of students. People that maybe would not have been recognized were receiving cords. I want to especially mention the new A through G cords that have been handed out. We were at Rancho Mirage last night, or the night before, and 173 cords that are orange and white were handed out to students who met the A through G requirements. So the new ways we're inspiring students. Bravo to all of you. So on the other side of giving out the awards are the donors. And I was in Thousand Palms at a little bingo night, and some people were sitting with me, and they were saying, we donated backpacks, and no one ever reached out to us. And so I'm reaching out to every single donor, every single former teacher, every association, every single individual, every single foundation, and every single group that has given funds, money, special, even at the WHO banquet, special rates for helping us with the cost of banquet space and convention space. We recognize all of you. And every board meeting, we have a list of people and donors, including the Rancho Mirage Women's Club tonight, the CB Firebirds, Patricia Marion, the American Heart Association, Megan Ross, Shutterfly LLC, Luciana Chapman, Bonnie E. Travis, Capco, and the Sisters of Indulgence, Special Indulgence, and of course the Thousand Palms Chamber of Commerce. And I just want to say that there are times where we are not able to read the lists, but we still want to thank you very much all across our district, our county, and individuals who don't even live here anymore, who've endowed their trusts for our students. Real quick, on May 20th and 21st, I was in Sacramento at the Delegate Assembly meeting for our Region 18. And the assembly meeting usually includes 225 teachers, or excuse me, representatives from districts across our area. I want you to know that of those 225 representatives, there were 80 new people at the assembly this year. So things are changing, people are changing, laws are changing, policies are going to be updated. I won't mention that the budget trends are in progress. We had group breakout groups to discuss the repercussions or the effects of late start in schools. I'll be sharing that information with you. The mayor of Sacramento commended all of us, including all of our board members here, for our public service is amongst the highest of callings, and what could be more important than making decisions on our children's education. So with that, I think, oh, there's one more thing. I have 3 videos that I'm going to send to you with links that I saw at the film festival, and they all seem to have an equity kind of lens, and I just would, if you have time, there may be 3 minutes each, but I'll be forwarding the videos to you, so you don't miss that part. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would try. I try to be in most of, that I can. Want to say thanks to the all administrator for putting the most of the events or meetings in the afternoon. That is the best for me. Like the LCAP meeting, I was there with Jervis William, Nicole Crawford, Anna Matthew was the translator, and Dr. Singoret was there in May 11. In May 12, I attended to the 2023 Cathedral City High School dance show. It was very impressive. They performed in 28 different dances and finishing dancing all together, and was all kind of support for their families and community. And in May 16, I attended the Cathedral City State of the City. It was a good event. And I want to highlight 2 of the events, the Cathedral City Senior Scholarship and Award Night. It is impressive, the all support that the students have. I count more than 50 scholarship sponsors, giving their economic support to 61 students to continue their education. Thank you for that, the all sponsor. And May 19, the 36th annual WHO banquet. I see in these events, this brings together the entire family at the Palm Springs Unified School District, celebrating and recognizing the effort of everyone for in pro of the academic and social success at the Palm Springs Unified School District students. Congratulations to all, and soon you will have the opportunity to take a well-reserved break. And yesterday I attended the Rancho Mirage Senior Award Night, and that was a wonderful event. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. Just real quick, I forget the date, but Madonna and I attended the Desert Hot Springs Scholarship Awards. Very well attended. I want to congratulate everybody that received a scholarship up there. I also attended the State of the City in Cathedral City with Sergio. I got to tell you, I was really impressed. Cathedral City's come a long way. They've got a bright future going for them. I'm really, really happy for them. I'd also like to thank the Desert Hot Springs Rotary. Right now they're doing a 2nd grade book giveaway to all the elementary schools in Desert Hot Springs, about 1,300 books they're going to be handing out. And then I apologize for missing the WHO banquet the other day. I was out of town. I was in Portland last week. But I just want to congratulate everybody that has hit a milestone, whether it be 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, and particularly those people that are retiring. I'm envious. So, so best of luck. All right, that's all I got, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Signoret.
Thank you. I don't have a lot of comments. Excuse me, other than just to piggyback on the WHO banquet. It was absolutely wonderful. Just a shout out to everybody that was recognized. all of our employees that were there. As I said at the microphone that evening, it's not just a work celebration. It's a family reunion. This district is very special, honoring everybody that was recognized, and everybody is extremely special. But I just definitely want to thank Dr. Murray and recognize him for his upcoming retirement. It was a real honor for me to be able to announce his name and give him that recognition. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to a public hearing. Item 14A, a public hearing and consideration of resolution authorizing the dedication of an easement to Southern California Edison. The board now opens the public hearing of the dedication of utility easement to Southern California Edison for the Desert Hot Springs High School electric vehicle charging stations. Clerk Espericueta, have we received any comments on that?
President Girardi, we received no writing comments. No writing comment has been received in this night.
Okay, thank you. No written comments, so is there anyone present who wishes to provide any oral comments? You can start lining up. All right. All right. So seeing none, later in the agenda, the board will consider approving adoption of resolution number 2022/2023-52, authorizing the dedication of a utility easement to Southern California Edison for the Desert Hot Springs High School electric vehicle charging stations, OE 12.5. Item 15 is board action items. 15A is approval of certificated and classified employee transactions, OE 4.4. Dr. Senior A will introduce our new appointments.
Thank you. I know he's been waiting very patiently. Mr. Nolan Valdez, come on up. It is with great pleasure we recommend Mr. Nolan Valdez as Manager of Grounds Maintenance. Mr. Valdez most recently worked in the Maintenance and Operations Department at Hemet Unified, specifically in the area of grounds maintenance. Mr. Valdez has experience and excellent knowledge of athletic field setup and maintenance, irrigation installation and repair, as well as operation and repair of heavy grounds equipment and other areas of landscaping maintenance. Mr. Valdez developed his leadership experience as a foreman and supervisor for the Valley-wide Recreation and Parks District, where he supervised grounds maintenance crews. His previous supervisor, Mike Thomas, stated that Mr. Valdez is a person you want as a part of your organization. He is a person of high character with a great work ethic. Congratulations, Mr. Valdez. Anything you'd like to share with the board and anybody you'd like to recognize this evening?
First off, I'd like to say thank you to the board and the cabinet for the opportunity, as well to Mr. Greg Shoemaker. I'm excited to start here. I'm excited to put my input in and bring what I know to the district and also learn new things from the district. According to the audience, I'd like to thank my dad, who's in attendance, for pushing me to be the person I am today and installing the work ethic I have in me. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank your dad for hanging out with us for so long. All right. May I get a motion to approve the following employment agreement? Employment agreement with Nolan Valdez, Manager, Grounds Maintenance, Salary Schedule, Reign 24, Step 1, effective June 5th, 2023.
Move for approval.
We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. Congratulations. Best of luck. We wish you much success. 15B, approval of monitoring report, governing policy, operational expectations, asset protection, OE7. Can we get a motion to approve item 15B?
Move.
We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
And a second. Dr. Senior A?
Thank you. I'll make it very brief. OE7 asset protection. It's a pleasure to provide the board a summary of OE7. And as you're aware, OE7 is a compilation of data in collaboration with our colleagues in several departments. So I'd like to thank our colleagues in maintenance and operation, technology services, business services, and our risk management team. They did a great job in providing us, again, all of the information for this board, for this report for the board. I also have Renee Burnell here this evening. Renee was instrumental in providing relevant information for this report as well. And she's going to be providing an update on the workers' compensation program, but that at the end. But I just want to highlight first a couple of the main points. But to start, as a whole, we're submitting OE7 as being in compliance. And I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to summarize some of the key elements. Element number 1, superintendent will maintain property and casualty insurance coverage on district property with limits equal to 100% of replacement value. And this policy is to ensure that the district has insurance to replace property as needed at the time of loss. So through Southern California Relief, which is our joint powers authority, we have purchased property and liability insurance, and our coverage addresses all property replacement costs for approximately $500 million per occurrence, and the total cost of the policy is about $1.9 million for the district. The next part that I'd like to highlight is number 4, that the superintendent will protect intellectual property information, files, records, and fixed assets from loss or significant damage. And this policy addresses copyrights and trademarks for any original district material, as well as protecting student and staff records that must be kept indefinitely, as well as provide insurance coverage in case of any loss or damage. During the 21-22 school year, we didn't have the need to copyright, didn't have the need to copyright any district material, and we did not have any breach of confidentiality with personnel or student files. Nonetheless, our memorandum of coverage provides up to $10 million per occurrence if there had been a breach. Next, I'd like to summarize number 5, that the superintendent will not allow facilities and equipment to be subject to improper use or insufficient maintenance. And this policy focuses on the proper use and maintenance of our facilities and equipment, including providing appropriate training for our personnel. And our business services and maintenance and operations department did a great job of maintaining all of our vehicles, mowers, and trailers in order to provide uninterrupted service to the district. Further supporting this policy are the numerous trainings our risk management department facilitated. They provided over 54,000 online trainings district-wide, and our completion of those trainings was expedited thanks in part to the monitoring by our HR staff and the $200 incentive we provided employees to complete the trainings by December of 2022. And as far as policies 6 through 9, these policies demonstrate that the superintendent did not unnecessarily expose the district to any legal liability during the 21-22 school year, nor were any illegal, unethical decisions made relative to the purchase or sale of real estate. So with that, you'll recall that OE7 does not specifically address workers' compensation, but we have traditionally addressed that because that is an important aspect of our asset protection. And we have provided this addendum because it does provide a lot of information for the board's consideration. Additionally, last year, Mr. Girardi was asking a few more specifics relative to what we are doing relative to workers' compensation. So Renee Brunel will walk us through that. So Renee?
Good evening, members of the board. I'm just going to go over a couple of points. First of all, last year, remember this report is for the 21-22 school year. We had a 1% decrease in our workers' compensation for the year, which means we're down 4 cents for every $100 of payroll. And during that year, that reduction does help us, keep reducing our work comp. It takes about 3 years for these things to start declining, but we are trending downwards. And then as of July 21, we were ranked 6 out of the 20 members in our JPA, which is our Riverside School Management Authority. And Mr. Girardi, I became the president so I could be on top of all the trends and everything. So I really got my hands on this across the board for your pleasure. So the other thing that has significantly helped us reduce our work comp is our return to work program. When we have employees that are under temporary disability, we're able to return them back to work immediately into a position or into an area where they can still work, and it helps them get better faster, but it also keeps them whole. So with that, we were able to, on our return to work program, we saved close to $354,000 last year. And it was 179% savings by keeping our employees at work. And we continue to improve this program, and it's one of the best programs that we have to keep people at work. And then, as Dr. Signoret mentioned, we were being very proactive and preventative when we introduced our trainings, our 3 parts of trainings this year with the incentive for everybody to have. And we had over 2,573 employees complete those trainings, and so there were over 82,000 trainings completed with the $200 incentive. So it was a small amount of money. The $514,000 we paid out was a small amount of money to make people responsible and really work on getting the trainings done in a timely manner, and it was for all departments. It was for HR, risk management, student services, IT. So it's a very comprehensive program. Everybody is receiving the same information in a timely manner, and all of this helps so people have information to prevent them from, doing things at work that they'll help them to get hurt. So with that, I have no other additional information. So.
Thank you.
Any questions?
And just, if I just may add, and also one additional piece is that when our HR and risk team regularly visit campuses and meet with principals, workers' compensation is one of the, and workplace injuries is one of the topics that we also bring up with our site administrators to help them, because oftentimes that is a world unknown to them. We really tell them, help them and guide them, and here we are to support you. Any questions? And Renee does a phenomenal job in giving them that guidance. So that's another level towards this addendum piece.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Renee.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Oh, no, just a comment. You've done a lot of innovative thinking and things over the years through the pandemic, and you are a superstar. You have done so much to help us and incentivize our district and take care of us all the way around, wrapping everything around us. And I know you were involved in a lot of programs, so we owe you great kudos and thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I got to tell you, it seems to me that the money spent on incentivizing people to take the training is a lot better than paying it out in worker compensation claims. So, great job. And I won't have any specific questions or anything tonight. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. Thanks a lot. All right, I think that brings us to 15C, approval of the 2023 revised LCAP federal addendum for Cielo Vista Charter School, OE10. May I get a motion to approve that?
Move for approval.
How about a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. 15D, approval of 2023 revised LCAP federal addendum for PSUSD, OE10. May we get a motion for that?
I move for approval.
I have a motion. How about a second? Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And if you guys have any questions, just stop me, okay? I'm going to go through these. 15E, approval of monitoring report governing policy R4, academic achievement for health and personal development, R4. May we get a motion to approve item 15E?
Move for approval.
How about a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 15F, can we get a motion to approve a proclamation of Mental Health Awareness Month, May 2023. And before that, I think Board Member Jarrell is going to read the proclamation for us.
Yes. Mental Health Awareness Month is this month, May 2023. Whereas families have been deeply affected by the pandemic and children are likely facing increased stress due to the changes, fear, and uncertainty caused by illness, isolation, impending homelessness, and job and health care loss at rates never seen before. And whereas the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that more than 20% of youth have been diagnosed mental health disorder in the United States. And whereas the average age of early signs of mental illness is 14 years old, where most students are entering high school. Whereas an estimated 60% of students with emotional, behavioral, and mental health disorders do not graduate from high school, according to the U.S. Department of Education. And whereas the National Survey of Drug Use and Health Data shows mental health diagnoses, suicide rates, non-suicidal self-injury such as cutting, and emergency room visits for students experiencing mental health issues are all on the rise. And whereas the CDC has declared suicide is the second leading cause of death among youth ages 15 to 19 years old. And whereas the number of children ages 6 to 12 who visited children's hospitals for suicidal thoughts or self-harm has more than doubled since 2016, according to the Children's Hospital Association. And whereas researchers found that students with untreated mental illness are more likely to be chronically absent, more disruptive in class, and have lower academic achievement, and ultimately drop out. And whereas researchers found that educating staff, students, and parents in the signs and symptoms of mental illness is key to both early intervention and dismantling the stigma surrounding health. And whereas mental health experts report that students are more likely to follow through with mental health services in school settings, and bringing mental health services onto campus enables easier communication among providers, parents, and teachers. And whereas schools that implement comprehensive mental health systems see improved academic performance, fewer special education placements, decreased disciplinary actions, and higher graduation rates. And whereas spreading awareness of the importance of mental health can help people realize the many ways in which mental healthness impacts them and those around them, and can provide the opportunity to learn about available services. Now, therefore, it be resolved, the Governing Board of Palm Springs Unified School District proudly proclaims this month of May as Mental Health Awareness Month in recognition of any student or any staff member challenged by mental illness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we get a motion to approve item 15?
Move.
How about a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. That motion passes. 15G, approval of declaration of need for fully qualified educators for 2023/2024, OE 4.122. May we get a motion to approve that?
Move for approval.
How about a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. 15H, approval of recommended certificated substitute teacher pay rate increase, OE 4.9. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Move for approval.
Thank you. How about a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. 15I, approval of budget increase for ECE Head Start grant application, OE 10. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve?
I move for approval.
We have a motion. How about a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. 15J, approval of budget increase of the gym floor replacement project at Desert Hot Springs High School, OE 12.13. How about a motion, please?
Move.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. 15K, approval of change order number 1 with R Dependable Construction for the Desert Hot Springs High School gym floor replacement project, agreement number C 0004216, OE 12.13. May we get a motion to approve, please?
Move for approval.
And how about a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. 15L, adoption of resolution number 2022/2023-52, authorizing the dedication of a utility easement to Southern California Edison for the Desert Hot Springs High School electric vehicle charging stations, OE 12.5. How about a motion for that? And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. 15M, adoption of resolution number 2022/2023-53, finding the installation of 12 electric vehicle charging stations in student parking lot at Desert Hot Springs High School exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act and approving the filing and recordation of a notice of exemption, OE 12.14. Would somebody like to move that item?
I move for approval.
How about a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. 15N, adoption of resolution number 2022/2023-54, board members' absences from regular board meeting on March 14th, 2023. Can we get a motion for that, please?
Move for approval.
How about a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. 15O, approval of compromise and release agreement number 22/23-8 between parents and district dated April 28th, 2023. Can I get a motion to approve item 15O?
I move for approval.
Thank you. We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion passes. 15P, approval of readmission of expulsion case 2021/2022-B to Palm Springs Unified School District from out of district, OE 11. Would somebody like to approve that item?
Move for approval.
We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that motion passes. Next, we'll move items 15Q to 15S in one vote. Approval of expulsion case 2022/2023-61, 2022/2023-62, and 2022/2023-65, recommendation and finding of fact and conclusion of law, OE 11. May I get a motion to approve items 15Q through 15S?
I move.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks. Item 16 is the superintendent's consent item, where we'll vote on consent items 16A to 16F in one vote. So can I get a motion to approve superintendent consent items 16A through 16F?
I move.
We have a motion. Can we get a second for that, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. 17 is board consent items. 17A is approval of meeting minutes from May 9th, 2023. Can we get a motion to approve that?
Move for approval.
I have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion passes. And 17B, approval of revised meeting minutes, March 14th, 2023. Can we get a motion to approve those minutes?
I move for approval.
Thank you. We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item 18 is informational items. 18A is first reading of revisions of Board Policy BP 5145.7 and Administrative Regulation AR 5145.7, Sexual Harassment, OE 11. 18B, first reading of revisions to Board Policy BP 5145.3 and Administrative Regulation AR 5145.3, Non-Discrimination/Harassment, OE 11. 18C, first reading of revisions to Board Policy BP 1312.3, Administrative Regulation AR 1312.3, and Exhibit E 1312.3, Uniform Complaint Procedures, OE 10. And 18D, first reading of revisions to Administrative Regulations AR 1312.4, Exhibit E1 1312.4, and Exhibit E2 1312.4, Williams Uniform Complaint Procedures, OE 12. The board has received and reviewed this information. 19, a suggestion for future board meetings.
I was just looking at the calendar, and before we know it, it's going to be June, and our retreat's coming up on the 22nd and 23rd of that month. And it would, could we have maybe start a draft
I think we did that in our January meeting.
Oh, so it's already established? Okay. So we approved that one already for that meeting. Could you resend it to us?
Sure.
Thank you.
Item 20 is setting of the regular meeting, June 13th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Anything you wanted to brief on?
No.
All right. So I think the next item, adjournment. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.